Kayla, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be talking about the Plated Prisoner series. Ba-da-da-da. I've been trying to get back into Romantasy, and I recently read When the Moon Hatched. Loved that. Absolutely adored that. So I think I'm ready. I think that is a good enough sign to continue to try Romantasy. I did take a long break from the series, or not the series, from the genre, because of the fact that I was just not really into it. I was pretty burnt out from Romantasies, and so I took a long break from them, and then I decided to see if I wanted to dip my toes back in and read the Plated Prisoner series, and I am indeed ready to roll. So I chose, because Queen Larry herself right now is reading the Plated Prisoner series, I was like, I have not read them either, so you know what? Let's roll. Let's do it. So I will be starting that. So this video is probably going to be pretty dang long. This is the intro. This is the beginning. Hello. And yeah, this is going to be a really long video. I'm not even sure what it's going to look like, so I guess we'll find out. I don't know if I'm going to record myself reading any point in time or if I'm just going to give you updates. I'm going to try to update ideally every day, but if I didn't get a lot of reading done or there's not a lot to say, I probably won't do it every day because that's just boring content. I will be reading all 6 on the Kindle because your girl does not have the book allowance to get all 6, because I bought some of the Windy City books and this hat and some new slippers and some other fun stuff. So your girl did not have the budget to buy all 6 books. And also just in case, as like a backup plan in case I don't end up liking them, I'm reading them all on this Kindle. My beautiful Burger case, not sponsored. This is the Draco design. So I'll be reading them all on here, and it's going to be a great time. I'm planning to start book 1, Guild, tonight. So you won't hear me talk about it till tomorrow, because I've got some other stuff to do today, and I'm going to go play Persona 4. So I will see you when I see you. Here we are. Update. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what day it was when I did the start of this video. When I said I was going to start Guild. I was hoping to finish it yesterday for me, which was the 9th of February, Monday. That did not happen. I ended up really enjoying Persona 4, and like I kind of like was going to split my day into Persona 4 and Guild. So I started with Persona 4, and then my hubby got home and he wanted to run around, and we ran around, and I read a little bit during that. But when I came home, there was still more I wanted to do in Persona, and so by the time I got done with that, it was late and I was tired. So I have not finished it yet. I'm super close though, super close. I am 77% through. Let's see. I looked at what my percent was before I started recording this. Okay, I have an hour and 28 minutes left in the book. Woo! So, goal today is to finish that. And I did, yes, okay. Finish Guild and start Glint, I believe. Is that book 2? We all might as well just hang out with my Kindle. I thought I prepped enough. I did not. As I downloaded all the books just now to make sure I had them all. Glint, yes. So, finishing Guild today, book 1. Starting Glint, book 2. Today as well. Don't know how much of that I'm going to get through. I would love to get 50% through. Ideally on my days off, I get more time to read than on the days that I work. And with it being a 6-part like book series, plus them getting longer as the books go on, because it's a fantasy series, so they get longer as they go. The later books in the series are going to take more days to read, so I'm trying to not rush, but put a lot more of my time into reading early on, to make sure that I am steadily flowing through these books to get them done throughout the month. So, loving Guild though. This, I don't know if I said this in part 1. I really hope I didn't say this was going to be spoiler free, because this is going to end up being a spoiler vlog. It's too long. There's too many books to talk about, and I'm really liking this one, so I want to talk about it. I'm loving it. I love this book. This is so great. Orin is so fun, and she's just really funny, because she came from like not a good background, having to struggle through life, and then like she literally gets treated like a coin because she's covered in gold. And the ribbons are very interesting. I'm assuming later on in the series we're going to discuss like what that's about, like why when he turned her gold, like does she get all like ribbons down her back, and like they're sentient, she can move them around, which is super fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I don't like Midas. I'm kid you not, these books are giving, I don't know if they're supposed to or not, these books are giving me ACOTAR vibes. Like Midas feels a lot like Tamlin. He feels so much like Tamlin. Like he's like your first love interest, the guy you see at the beginning, like he's just trying to protect her, right? No, he's not. He's a douche nozzle and he's mean to Oren. But the poor thing, he took her in when she was really vulnerable, and so he like manipulated that. And so yeah, like he took advantage of her in the sense when she was in a really weak, low spot, when she was just a teenager, so she was really young, like emotionally very malleable. And he took advantage of that, and he took her in, and he made her believe that they loved each other, and he does not love her, and turned her into gold. He can turn anything into gold. He's got magic, but she's the only one that's like an actual person that he turned gold. So she's special. She's called the king's favored, but she's still, even though she's the king's favored, she's still what they call a saddle, which is what's a YouTube friendly word to say for a saddle? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's women who have adult time with men in the bedroom, and it's a saddle because they get ridden, haha, like a horse saddle. I find it like funny in the sense of like what the play on word is, not the title itself and the position. Like that's, I mean, everybody like, they've got them, like that's a thing, that's a job, but like the play on words, you're probably gonna hear that. It's my cat playing with a ball. But I think the play on words is funny, that they are called saddles because they're being ridden. So she, even though she's considered Midas the king's favored person, she's still a saddle at the end of the day. So she's really not up in status. So, and he's married, and he's not nice to her either, and she obviously does not like Oren. So that's pretty much our like setup. She lives in a literal cage. I thought that was very interesting that he did that. So like she lives in the castle and she has her own tower, and like she can go in between a few select rooms in the castle, but he literally built her caged walkways. Like imagine a castle and then like there's just actual gold cages as like blocked in cages. That's a walkway that lead into a big cage that is inside of a room. That is what she's confined to, which I think that is so fascinating. Like visually when I pictured it, like made it in my head while I read, it was a lot of fun. So that was really cool. And then let's see. I don't know who the real love interest is, right? Who is our actual guy, because it's definitely not Midas. Definitely not Midas. So I'm very curious to see who it is. Who is our main squeeze? I could look that up very easily. I think I've seen in passing throughout the years fan art. So like I know like what she had looked like and supposedly what he might look like. I might have a visual image of that, but like I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's gonna come from. And like a part of me really wants to look it up. Like no, but then like if I know who he is, I'm gonna be waiting for him to show up in the book. If that makes sense, I'll be like, where is he? Why isn't he here? Like I did that with Throne of Glass. When I read Throne of Glass for the first time, I had read about Rowan because I mean we've all read, or a lot of us at this point have read Throne of Glass, and so you know that like Celine has multiple people that she's been with leading up to our main man, Rowan. But I knew main man was Rowan, so like each of the books I'm like, when's Rowan gonna get here? When's Rowan gonna get here? When's Rowan gonna get here? So like I feel like if I do that right now and I look up who she's gonna be with, I'm gonna spend the next I don't know how much longer I've got until he shows up wondering where he's at. I haven't done anything yet. Let me make sure I don't have any. Okay. I accidentally left my phone open because I was listening to a video. And sometimes when that happens, I don't get notified that I have a text. And then hubby gets sad that I don't respond. So yeah, that's great. I'm loving this book. I'm excited for Mayman. Right now, Midas tricked the king. So what is Midas the king of? So the kingdoms are numbered. I don't remember how many there are. But Midas, I think, is the king of 4th? No, he's a 6. Midas is the king of the 6 because I remember Oren saying that he's obsessed with the number 6 and like his guard number is 6. He has 6 buttons on his shirt. Like he's obsessed. So Midas is 6. He tricked the king of Kingdom 5 to attack the 4th kingdom, which the king's name is King Rot because I guess he's evil and mean. So I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not obviously going to believe that till I meet him. I mean, they could be true. He could be mean and evil just like they say, but I don't know. We could pull also a Romantasy thing where it's like he's not actually mean and they're not a bad kingdom. That's just a front that they put on and they're great on the inside. So we'll find out, I'm sure. But yeah, so Midas, 6th kingdom, convinces the 5th kingdom to attack, claiming he was going to attack with them and they were going to attack together the 4th kingdom. But he lied. 5th kingdom attacked. 4th lost because they did not have a backup army with them. The 5th king found out about it, got pissed. He was killed because he tried to hurt Oren and attack the king. And Midas then was like, oh, well, he's dead. I get 5th kingdom now. This is exciting. And he takes off to the 5th kingdom to go help them because they were deceived by their evil king. And he is here to help take care of them and be kind because he's like a smooth talker in a bad way. Like he's really good at convincing people that he's great when he's not that great. So he's over there. He got it over there. He got settled. He was making sure that it was safe before he brought over Oren. And he deemed it safe. So she traveled over there with some people and we met. Oh, my heart hurts because I just read this. My heart hurts. We met, so she had a group of soldiers plus the rest of the royal saddles were traveling together. And of course she has special treatment, right? She has her own her own carriage because she's special. And we have Digby, which was her normal guard back at the castle. He is there with her. He's great. He's super funny in the fact that like he's really serious all the time and she's always trying to like joke with him and mess around with him and he's just like, no. He's like an old man. He's like, not old. He's like a middle-aged older man. And he's just like, no, I'm not going to get in trouble playing your games. And she's like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you to crack one day. I'm going to do it. But you know he cares. He's great. Love Digby. And then we have Sail. Oh, I'm heartbroken. I was walking on my walking pad when I read it. I was so upset. And you meet Sail. He's a younger guy, super nice, super charming, super great to Oren, joking around with her, keeping her company while, you know, protecting her. And I literally said this to myself when I read him. I was like, you meet somebody really great and really nice and sweet. They either like become part of the like found family or they die. And I just knew he was going to die. And I was so upset about it. And he did. They get captured by snow pirates, part of the Red Raid gang, if I remember right. That's what they're called. And they, brain's going away because of the distraction of my husband calling. Yeah, so they were captured. They were taken to the pirate ships, which are weird. They have ships, but the entire country is just snow. So they don't sail over the water, they sail over snow, and they have these big creatures called like fire claws, if I remember right, and it like snow dog pulls them through the snow. They capture everybody, strip everybody, take all the gold, find out that Oren is the golden favored one. And the royal saddles are royal saddles, and the pirates are like, we're gonna have some fun, and I'm not 100% sure what they did with all the soldiers. I'm gonna guess they lock them all up, except Sail. They killed Sail because of the fact that he yelled at the captain and was trying to protect our poor girl. He was trying to protect Oren. all the way to the very end, and he died, and I knew they were gonna do this, and I was still upset that they did it anyway. So when Sail was fighting, or was like verbally sparring with the captain was like, look, we have a sail for our boat. Do you see where we're going with this? So after they kill him, they string him up like a sail on the boat. Like, if you can imagine where the sail is attached to the wood, yeah, that was him, his actual body. And I was upset about it. I was devastated. I was like, damn. And so was Oren. So Oren used her ribbons on her back, and she cut him down, and she yeeted him over the side of the boat into the snow so that they couldn't degrade his body anymore. And she was taken away, and the captain was about to punish her, you know, wink wink, in a bad way, punish her in the bedroom. But no, we're not happy about that. We're not happy about that. No, we're not. And he gets a note that says he's about to have guests. Weird. I don't know who this guest is, but I'm very excited to find out. And so now all the saddles plus Oren are in the kitchen cooking, prepping for that guest. We'll find out who it is. Do I want it to be the main squeeze? Yes, but I don't know who the main squeeze is. I don't know who's coming. I don't know anything. That's where I'm at. That is Guild so far. Like I said, I've got an hour, 28 minutes. I'm at 77%. I'm finishing it today, and then I'm gonna hop on over and do Glint next. And ideally, I'd love to get 50% through the book today. If I get farther than that, that's even better. I'm probably not gonna even play Persona today. I think I'm just gonna read. Like, I'm really excited for this book. So I will probably update tomorrow, but tomorrow, it's gonna say the morning, but I've re-changed my morning routine before work, so I probably won't have time to do it in the morning. I will do it then tomorrow after work. You'll see me at some point with an update for my final thoughts on Guild and my up-to-date on Glint. So, okay, see you then. Alright, update time. This is a weird lighting. It's like throwing me off, so don't mind that. I'm like weird. I don't know. I think it's because I haven't filmed at night in a hot minute. Anyways. Update. I finished Guild. I finished book 1, and I gave it a 5. I absolutely loved it. I did look up the main squeeze. I know I kept saying that I wasn't going to do it, but I did indeed look who it is. Look up who it is, because I was pretty sure that the guy that I had just met at the end of book 1 was him, right? Was the guy. So I needed to confirm it so that I didn't get too attached if it was not him. And it was him. So we just met Commander Rip. And he's super fun. Yeah, book 1. Yeah, because I finished it yesterday, and then I started book 2 yesterday, and then I read book 2 a little bit this morning. How did it end? Wow. It's like I've started a whole other book, and I'm like a good chunk into this next book too. So it's like trying not to blend like what happened in the beginning of this book, of book 2, and what happened at the end of book 1. I think book 1 really just ended with Rip taking her. Like, he bought her and the rest of Midas's people from the pirates. We also found out that Oren has she has gold touch. I don't remember if I talked about that, if I was that far in the book yet or not when I talked last time, but she has the gold touch. So I don't know if it's like Midas doesn't have it and he just claims he has it, but really it's her, or what. She definitely didn't always used to be gold, at least as far as I can understand when she talks about her flashbacks. But she turned the pirate captain into gold because he was doing not nice things to Risa and was planning on doing not nice things to her. So she turned him into gold, and they, Oren and Risa threw him out the window. And somehow got away with it. Commander Rip took her, Oren, and the other saddles, and all the guards away. And was heading towards 5th Kingdom with an army. Because Commander Rip is from 4th Kingdom, the Rock Kingdom. So they're on their way to 5th Kingdom. And now we are into book 2. Where we've pretty much just been traveling. Let me get a percent. Let me get a percent rocking. Oh, please. Bum, 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 bum. Go to most recent page. Ooh, yes, queen. 28% through. I'm 28% through. We are traveling. Rip is continuously trying to ask Oren questions about Midas. And Oren thinks he's doing this to try to find weaknesses against Midas. I think that's partly true, I'm sure, to an extent. But at the same time, I don't think it's fully like for malicious intent against Midas, but I think like also just like to inquire about her. Like he asks like, are you really actually locked in a cage? And he's not saying it to get the schematics of the castle or to find anything out about that. He just genuinely wants to know if she's actually happy where she's at, and like trying to show her that like she's kind of being used. Like she thinks she's happy and she thinks she loves him and that he loves her and that they're in this castle together having a happy life. And he's trying to show her in a sense that like what she thinks is good is not good, such as being in a cage in the castle. So that's fun. I really like him. I like his, I think he's his second in command. His name is Osric, if I remember right. It's a really interesting name. He's really funny. He's like a big brute, big man. Got a funny sense of humor, but like not like a Sale kind of guy. He's a rougher guy. I don't even know what that was, but that's the vibe. That's the vibe we're rocking with. So I'm liking him a lot. We haven't really done too much else. She's been treated very nicely. He's been very nice, and so she's starting to have a bit of doubt about Midas. She's like, the more he, like, Rip talks, the more it makes sense that he's pointing out that Midas, like, the things that she's encountering with Midas are not actually good things in the slightest, and so I'm very happy that he is helping her figure that out. And, yeah, that's where we're at the moment. Nothing, like I said, we're mainly traveling right now, so a lot really hasn't quite happened. We do know that, or at least Oren knows that Rip is a Fae, which I guess the Fae haven't been around for a long time. Like there are like half and like diluted bloodlines of Fae still in Oria, I believe is the name of the whole country. But they are no longer like actual full-blooded Fae, they're not supposed to. But then we have Rip, because I guess there was a 7th kingdom, so instead of 6 there were 7, and the 7th kingdom was attached to like a rift. They found like a bridge, and a girl was able to cross it trying to find her dad. She met the Fae, fell in love with their prince, they got married. The prince fully like opened this bridge up so that like officially people could go back and forth between the two, and then they did that. But then like a king later on down the line, I don't remember if it was a Fae king or maybe like the 7th kingdom's king or somebody else's king, somebody got mad about it, and there was like a whole like war between the Fae and the humans that caused the bridge to be severed entirely, so that the Fae and the humans can no longer go back and forth between each other's worlds. But in doing so, it destroyed, as far as we know, because a lot of times fantasy books like this like to say like they were destroyed, but they weren't. But as far as we know, the 7th kingdom was destroyed when this bridge was severed. Like it was such a strong connection that once it broke, it took the whole kingdom with it. So, so apparently it is really, really weird for Rip to be here. And he's got spikes on his eyebrows and along his back and his arms, which he can retract into his body. Like Wolverine's claws, like his aren't metal, Rip's aren't metal, but like it works the same where it's like they come out and then they can come back in. Like that's Rip as well. So that's fun. And he also calls Oren a golden finch. Now, we don't know what that is. She seems to somewhat know what that means. I don't know if she fully knows what a goldfinch is, like how we, as the reader, don't know what a goldfinch is. But she knows it has something to do with her ribbons and that she has, like, that she's different. I'm assuming also because of her gold power. So, he knows what she is, she knows what he is, and they like to throw it at each other. AKA, when Rip makes Oren mad, she's like, I will tell everyone that you're Fae. And he's like, I will tell everyone you're a goldfinch. And then they just kind of like and move on. So that is where we were at. I'm hoping, I'm not going to be able to finish it tonight, but I'm hoping to finish it in the morning on my walking pad. So I will probably update, ideally I'll try to update tomorrow morning about how I feel about it and my thoughts on the end of book 2. So I can start book 3 tomorrow evening. So in the morning. I'll see you then. I have finished, might as well hold my Kindle while we're here. I finished, oh wow. Wait. I finished Guild the last time I spoke, right? Did I? Did I? Wow. Why all of a sudden, I think it's just my eyes being kind of weird. Like all of a sudden it doesn't look very bright to me. Wow. Has it been that long since I spoke? I didn't record yesterday. I'm really blanking. Because I had just finished Glint, which is book 2. And I have no idea if I spoke about book 1 yet or not. I don't know. Huh. Well, if I did, we'll skip over this part. If I didn't, here it is. Then we had book 2. I finished that last night. Oh my goodness. I'm really a hot mess this morning. Book 2 was Glint, because I believe I'm on Gleam now. That was also super fun. We got to meet Commander Rip, who I now know is King Ravenger. Okay, I had my suspicions. I have my suspicions. And we got to meet our found family. This is who's going to be our found family. We have Osric, who's like big, buff, brawny, or yeah, big buff guy, big strong man, give vibes, I think is what I said in the previous, so maybe I have. Anyway, I feel like I referenced him as big, burly, vibes kind of guy. We have Lou, which is short for Tallulah, but she's like, do not ever call me Tallulah. I love the name Tallulah though, by the way. But we have Lou. She's kind of like your quiet stealth girl, but she's like, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I'm not a badass. So she's super awesome. Love Lou. And then we have Jude, who is described to have a mustard colored hair, which I find is very funny. So, I mean, that's a good way to make him memorable. Mustard colored hair. Yeah, that was super funny. So I like Jude too. I like Jude. Primarily we've been seeing him because he's been helping Orin train to get stronger and like make her ribbon stronger and stuff on her back. So that's been super fun. Yeah, we found out that King Rot is Rip. And also Rip is really mad that Orin keeps staying with Midas, but she claims she has to. She feels like she can't leave him. And he's really pissed about that. So that's super fun. And he's like, I'm gonna find a way to make you leave him. And she's like, good luck with that. We also now know that Orin is the one who has the magical touch, the gold touch. She got this power. She'd always been gold, but the gold power activated at 15, and she does not know how to control it. I think it also only works during the day. So she always keeps herself covered because it's just anything that touches her skin, she turns gold, and she doesn't know how to control it. But she says she like feels that power like drain and kind of like disappear once night hits. So I think it's only during the day, but I haven't quite figured out like if the sun itself needs to be shining or if it just simply has to be daytime. I haven't fully picked up on that yet, but essentially it happens during the day at some point and potentially only when the sun's out. No, it can't be because the sun was like pretty much never out in the Sixth Kingdom. So it's during the day hours is when she can use it because that's when the sun is up and her power is kind of based around the sun. So she's the one who does the power. She learned independence while with Commander Rip and the rest of the 4th Army. So when she went back to Midas, she's like, I'm a new girl. I'm a new woman, independent. I don't want to be in my cage anymore. I know I asked to be in the cage, but I don't want the cage anymore. I want to just be out with you and just walking around. And he was like, no. I built you a new one, actually. I built you a cage here in 5th Kingdom for you to hang out with. And it's great. And it's not gold yet because obviously you've not been here to make it gold. But now you're here and you can make it gold and you can live in it. She's like, no, thanks. I appreciate the thought, but I'm good. I'm okay. And he was like, no, this wasn't a negotiation. You're gonna go in the damn cage. And he tried to lock her in, and she accidentally turned a girl gold. Actually, I think I'm now in book 3. I read them back to back, and I didn't record last night after I finished book 2, so now we're bleeding to book 3. My bad. So book 2, 5 out of 5 stars. There it is right there. I'm gonna do this a lot. Oh. Yeah, so book 2 ended with us finding out that Commander Rip is the same as King Rot. Now into book 3, Midas tried to relock up Orin. She's not happy about it. She now knows Rip is King Rot. She's pissy about that. Midas had invited the Third Kingdom over as a celebration for him taking over the Fifth Kingdom. And so forth. It's like, this is great. We're having a party. We are newly allied because Rip asked, or now he wants to go by Slade. So Slade asked for a specific piece of land from the Fifth Kingdom. In exchange, he would not attack and invade. And Midas was like, sure, go for it. Shake on it. Fine. So now Third Kingdom's coming. Fourth Kingdom is still here. And Orin is pissed because obviously Rip did not tell her, or Slade did not tell her that he is the king. So she's pissy at that, and then she's mad at Midas because he's trying to lock her back up in this cage. And she's just kind of angry, rightfully so at the moment. And that's where I'm at. I am only a couple percent through. 6%, because I was actually going to start it last night, but then other things came up and book 2 took a little longer than I thought. So I started it this morning, so we're not very, very far in. Ideally, I will update tomorrow because I edit tonight. So if I get to read, it won't be a lot. So I will hopefully have an update tomorrow. Sometime. I'll try. All right. Okay. See you then. All right. Update time. I think it has been days since I recorded an update. Hold on, water. I have a lot of talking that's about to happen because I got to record a couple of different things. Some of those things you're going to see before you see this one. I have been in a bit of a funk, so reading, while I've been reading, it's been really slow, and my hubby's been home, and he's loud, so there weren't really any good times to record when it's quiet, so I've gotten out because he's at work. Last I talked to you guys, I think I had just started book 3, so that is Gleam. Yeah. I'm done with it now. I finished it last night, and I am only like 2 hours into book 4, so I'm really, really early into book 4. So let's talk about book 3. I really enjoyed it. At times, I was getting a bit annoyed just because it's very obvious that Orin was waking up that Midas is not a good person and that he was taking advantage of her. But like, she still kept going back to him, and like, essentially she's like, he'll change. I just have to tell him that I've changed and I've grown as a person and things will be different. Girl, he's abusive. Of course that's not gonna happen. But I mean, like, she can't see it because she kind of loves him, even though she was starting to get feelings for Rip, who we also now know is Slade, King Rot, or Slade Ravenger. So, but she was starting to feel feelings for him, so she was getting really confused, and of course Slade was getting mad because she kept going back to Midas, and he's like, just pick me because I'm great. And then the wrath hit Slade's group of people, Osric, Lou, Judd. I always want to call him Jude, but I think it's Judd. And then we now know our 4th member, who plays Commander Rip when Slade has to be to be like the face of the king, his brother Riot, who looks very similar to him. And that makes up the Wrath team, and that makes up our found family, and I love them all so much. So yeah, that was getting a bit annoying in book 3, especially because book 3 is long. It's like, oh my goodness, my voice cracked there. Book 3 is long. It was like 660 something pages or more on the Kindle, so that was a bit like, oh my goodness, there's definitely some times like, I was like, oh. In the end, overall, I did give the book a 5 out of 5. I give them out really easily. So, like, those were not bad enough to take away from that itself, the rating of the book, but still, I was like, can we, girl, you know he's not gonna change. And I was like, when she finally snapped at the end, I was like, yes, queen, yes. Because he cut off her ribbons. Oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna, like, I almost, like, cried. Like, my eyes were teared up. When he Midas cut off her ribbons. He cut off her ribbons, and the guards helped do that. Like, I lost all respect for all those guards as soon as they helped Midas take those ribbons away and literally cut them off of her body. They are appendages, and he just cut them off her body, and he didn't even have the decency to cut them off, like, in one full all 24. Nah, he cut them off a few at a time to make it last. Oh, I was livid, guys. I was livid. I was so mad. And then, like, he drugged her with this drug called Dew that the Fifth Kingdom has. It's literally like an aphrodisiac. You give it to him and you feel like all happy and flirty and hot, and you want to have a lot of fun. And he was forcing her to eat that to stay complacent. And I felt so bad. And I was like, why didn't Slade find her yet? Like, her and Slade were supposed to meet, and she didn't make the appointment because Midas knew she was being sus and cut off her ribbons and was drugging her for days. I was like, how did he not go try to find her? I was so upset. But saving grace, guys, Digby's alive. Woo-hoo. Digby is one of her personal guards that's been around. He's like a father figure for her. He's alive, guys. Woo, we can clap. Round of applause. Super happy that he's with us. Midas is dead. Thank God. Midas invited the Third Kingdom's queen with her brother and her brother's husband to come over, and essentially they were going to do a marriage to bring their two kingdoms together, which was like insane because Midas would then be ruling the Sixth Kingdom, the Fifth Kingdom, because he killed the king of Fifth Kingdom, as I talked about in the earlier books. And then he also did kill the heir, the prince. So he was lined up there to take that spot. Then he was going to marry Third and help. He thought he was going to take over Third, but the queen of Third is a lot smarter than you think. So he was going to have a lot of power. And he tried to kill Oren because she was like, I'm done with you. I'm fed up. She broke through the drug haze and she was like, fudge you. I am leaving you. This is it. This is over. I'm going with Slade. I'm going with him, and we're leaving, and you suck. You suck. And he was like, Midas is like, no. You will die if I don't get to be with you. And then Oren found out that she thought she could only use her gold powers during the daylight. She got it from the sun. Once the sun set, her power would kind of disappear, and she couldn't turn things gold anymore. But she found out that she could still control it. Now, I don't know if this is going to be like a reversal thing, like the day she makes it, at night she controls it, or if she can control it all the time. But as far as we know right now, she can control it at night. And she turned that whole castle that was full of gold, and she just melted it like water and like made like an ocean out of it. And she like killed every one of those guards that helped cut up her ribbon and keep her locked away and drugged. She killed Midas with it. She like turned him slowly from the inside out gold. It was beautiful. But she used way too much magic, so she was gonna burn out and she was gonna die. And Slade couldn't have that. He could not have that and lose her. So he used his power. So he has the power of rot. He can like literally rot things, and he can rot people. But when he rots people, he can bring them back to life. But he only has so long. Like, he can't just like, rot you and a month later come back. Like, it's within minutes. He has to bring you back and take the rot back out of your body, or it's permanent. So he rots her to try to get her to stop so that she doesn't like kill herself. And that's kind of how we ended. And that's pretty much how we ended book 3. And then Queen, I think her name, okay, guys, fantasy names. And this book doesn't come with a glossary for names, like how to pronounce them. And so I don't know. It's Queen Kaila. It can be pronounced, in my opinion, Kyla or Kayla. So I don't know. Because my name's Kayla, so how exciting is that? But could it be, is it Kyla? I don't know. I've been pronouncing it Kayla, so that's my name. But if I'm wrong, I'm really sorry. I did try to find it. I did try to find how to pronounce her name. But she is the queen of the third kingdom. And with Midas now dead, and the people angry trying to figure out who killed their prince, she is essentially stepping up. She is like, she still has third kingdom. She has no intention at the moment to take over fifth kingdom because there's too much anger going on in the country because they just lost their king, then they just lost their prince. So essentially, she is going to help the people find a family member to their deceased king and prince to rule, but they are going to pick. They're going to make it look like they're being generous, they're being nice, they're helping the kingdom find their next king and not step in. But in reality, they're making sure they put somebody on the throne that they can control, which is so smart. So smart. Slay, queen. Slay. And then they're going to go to sixth kingdom because they did announce their engagement. So Midas and Kayla's engagement before he died. So she's planning to go into sixth kingdom now that he's dead. And Melina, by the way, is dead. Well, no, she's not dead. Midas sent an assassin to kill Queen Melina. She got away, but he told the people that she died because the people were angry at her because she tried to throw like a coup and overthrow him while he was in fifth kingdom, and that backfired big time. And the people turned against her because of Midas. She was an idiot. She went about it the wrong way anyway. So, rightfully so, she was dethroned, and they tried to kill her. And so he has told the kingdom that she is dead. So essentially, there's also no ruler for six. So Queen Kayla is going to go over there, and she's going to try using her engagement to Midas to go over there. She's going to make him look like such a great guy. She's going to throw a memorial, grieve, like all this, fake things to try to take over the fifth kingdom or the sixth kingdom and get that control. And then she's got like her little plaything in fifth. So that is fun. We've got that going on right now. Any other details? Like, a lot happened in the book. The last time I talked to you guys, I think I like barely started it. So now I'm like, oh gosh, what all has happened? So much has happened. I think that's the gist of what we needed from book 3. On to book 4, like I said, I'm like 5% in. I'm really, really not that far in. We're getting a lot of Slade POVs, which is a lot of fun. We're getting to see Slade when he was a kid. Because he tried to take the raw out of Orin, but there's a single piece that will not come out of her chest. And so she's still asleep. So, like, she's breathing and she's alive, but she won't wake up. And he's afraid that it's this piece of rot, like he waited too long, and now she's, like, permanently dying. So he's freaking out about that. And Queen Kayla is, that her whole plan, she's starting it, that I just explained. Yeah, and then that's pretty much all I've gotten so far. And then, yeah. So Queen Kayla is making Orin out to be the bad guy because Mist is one of the royal saddles that was for Midas. She got pregnant by Midas. And there was a whole plot. Midas wanted Melina, the late queen of 6, to pretend to be pregnant, go into hiding, and then come out 9 months later with a baby. With the saddle's baby, because she's barren, Queen Melina, so she can't have a baby. And so he's essentially like, this will be our heir, this is great. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna raise no bastard as my kid. And he said, well, then you're gonna die. And then he started the whole assassin thing. And he still kept Mist, who's pregnant, like just in the background. But when he went to go get engaged to Queen Kayla, obviously she also does not want a bastard in line for her throne either. So her plan was to kill Mist, but now Midas is dead, so she has not killed Mist yet. But Mist is just kind of existing at the moment. And Mist told everybody that Orin is the one that has the magic. Oh, well, they don't know that Orin has the magic because they saw her using it. What they think happened is they think that Orin stole it from Midas when Midas turned her gold, even though she is gold. It's her. She's the one who's gold. It's her power, but everybody thinks it's his, and they think that she ended up stealing it and using it. So now they're turning Orin into a bad person and trying to make all the kingdoms hate Orin, who is also with King Ra in the Fourth Kingdom, so they're going to spin that against the Fourth Kingdom as well. And of course, Queen Kayla is nervous that because she used her power on Orin, that Orin will steal her power, which Queen Kayla's power is she essentially controls voices, so she can hear from really far away, and like how she says it, she like pulls the voices towards her, so like even if you're whispering somewhere else, she can bring that to her ear so she can hear it. She can also repeat things that, like, she can send back voices and conversations that she's heard and let other people hear it, and she can also take your voice away, which is crazy. So she's pretty dope. And yeah, so she's making everybody hate Orin at the moment. And then yeah, Orin is asleep because Slade can't get the little bit of rot left that's in her chest out, so she's still out cold. And then we keep getting flashbacks to see Slade's upbringing, how his mom was from Aurea, the human country, and she had Fae lineage. She had human ancestors that had mated with Faes prior to the bridge closing, and then she was one of the last people brought over with a handful of other people by one of the Fae. They call him the Breaker. He married her because she's a diviner, so she can see prophecies for people specifically. She can't see events, she can just see them for people. And of course, she's, as prophecies go, they're cryptic. They don't make no sense. They don't say, you're going to trip and fall on Saturday. They're all cryptic and weird. This is just water, by the way. I don't know if I said that. It's in an Eevee cup, but it's just water. I'll have my Lonnie a little bit. But yeah, so that's that. Slade's mom is super awesome. She's great. But his dad, the Breaker, is not great. He actually helped the Fae King break the bridge that connected the two countries, like the Fae world and the human world. So his mom gets a lot of shit for being Orien born, even though she has strong Fae magic. Because of the fact that she has round ears and she's from Orien, they kind of don't like her and they're mean to her, which is rude. But we just saw that Slade got his powers at 8, which I guess is early. And so he got his rot powers and his spikes. So that just happened. And that's all I'm at for book 4, which is Glow. So that's that update. Ideally, I will try to make updates in the morning over the next couple of days. I'm hoping to have book 4 done tomorrow, but I don't know when tomorrow. So I'll probably try to give an update tomorrow morning before work, letting y'all know what's going on. And yeah, ideally I'd like to finish it tomorrow and start book 5 tomorrow, because I need book 6 done before, like, next Wednesday. So not this current Wednesday, it's the 17th for me, Tuesday the 17th. So not the Wednesday tomorrow, the following Wednesday. I need it done. So yeah, I will give you guys an update when I have an update. So I'll see you then. Good morning. All right. I did not finish the book like I wanted to. When my hubby's home, things just like don't go to plan. He ends up like wanting to go somewhere spontaneously, or I prep dinner and he cooks dinner, but then he ends up always needing help cooking dinner, so then that takes time. So and then I got really tired because I knew I wasn't gonna finish it last night. Like I get like a surge of energy when I know I'm gonna finish a book. Sorry, my water's down here. But I knew I was not going to have time to finish it, so instead I ended up going the opposite way and I got really tired. So that didn't happen. The goal is to finish it today. That I think is going to be doable. We are 45% through. I have 7 hours and 40 minutes left, but I'm going to read for like 2.5 hours this morning. So hopefully that goes well. Let's see where we left off. Sometimes these books feel like so much happens, and I'm like, what on earth am I supposed to talk about? Like what did I leave off talking about? Orin woke up. Lee, the crazy thing she did with the gold, that was her Fae side waking up. So that was fun. She woke up. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. I literally like just rolled out of bed. It's like 8:18. Yeah, Oren woke up. She kind of went feral for a little bit because she'd been in the coma, was injured right beforehand, so her face side kind of took over, but then Slade got it to calm down and go back inside. Not like trying to smother it or anything. He's just like, you kind of need to chill for like right now, and then once you're like stable, we can go back and talk to that version of you. So we've got that going for her. She's been trying to train with Judd, but she was having balance issues because her ribbons are gone, and since she relied on them a lot for balance and how she moved and things, it's causing issues with balance. So but she didn't want to tell anybody because she didn't want to talk about all of the pain and the trauma from the past. So when she finally said it, Judd was like, girl, you should have told me. Then I could have done a whole other thing and you wouldn't have felt so stupid. Come on, like, let's try this new thing. And now she's doing a lot better. Her and Slade have been having a lot of heart-to-hearts because like things have been kind of like weird and tense between the two of them since she woke up, because he essentially thought that she regretted killing Midas. And so he'd been like pretty distant, being like, she still hasn't let Midas go. Like, this is so awkward. She probably hates me because I rotted her to save her life. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm not upset at all. Like, nope. So get over that. And so he was like, okay, well, we've gone over me. What about you? We need to discuss the fact that you're afraid of your power. So her power has not been working, period, because of the fact that she's scared of it. And so she's right now, or I think she just finished telling the story about when her power woke up, when her gold touch woke up, and how she like killed a whole village on accident because of it. So we're trauma dumping right now. So fun. Osric and Risa are gonna be a thing, so that's kind of cute. Risa and Polly are the Royal Saddles. They're with the 4th Army right now, on the way back to the 4th Kingdom. Osric's with them, with the army, while Judd, Lou, and Riot are with Slade and Oren and Deadwell, which is that strip of land that 5th Kingdom had, that 4th Kingdom was trying to take back, and then Midas gave it back to 4th Kingdom in their treaty, like alliance earlier on in the books. I guess it's got a secret town in it. I don't know why it's a secret, but it's a secret in it, and everything around it looks like it's rotted and dead. So like it's supposed to be like, oh, this whole piece of land is dead, so nobody goes over there and finds this weirdly secret village. So I don't know why it's a secret yet. That's pretty much it. That's kind of all I got. I have no energy because I just woke up and my voice sounds disgusting. Don't know why it sounds all scratchy and gross. That's great. Yeah, that's really all I got for you right now. So, good times. Oh, my stars. Alright, I will hopefully have an update tomorrow morning about what's going on with the rest of this book and how it ended, so that I can start book 5 tomorrow night. So I'll see you then. Update time. Let's see. I'm not done with Glow, so we're still chugging along with that one. I am 60 something %. Let's fact check real quick. I literally was just looking at it too. 64%. My Kindle claims I have 5 hours and 13 minutes left, so that's fun. But this one was really long. It's like 700 something pages, so we're still chugging through that. Let's see. I think the last time I talked, Oren had just woke up. We were and her power. I don't know if I talked much about what her power status was, but essentially it was like because she was scared of her power, it wasn't working, and she like it just didn't work. Period. Nothing happened. But we've overcome that fear. We've got some semblance of a control, enough that she doesn't have to wear her gloves all the time, so that's really nice. But she has not in any way, shape, or form mastered it, but she's confident enough that she doesn't have to wear her gloves anymore, and she can come out during the daytime, so that's exciting. We met Slade's mom, so that was like present day Allure. And she's super cute. She's super sweet. We found out how he got here because Slade and them are from Anwen, the Fae city in the Fae world, which is also where Oren's from. But Oren doesn't know how she got here, but Slade knows because he was fighting with his dad, because his dad found out that his mom was having an affair with a servant, another Orien servant inside of the house, and I knew it. So as soon as they were like, the dad found out, Slade stomped in trying to figure out why they're all yelling, and like why the dad is yelling. He's being mean as the dad is, and he's like, how long, like, who have you been with, like, you've been messing around behind my back. And then Slade like looks at Jack and he's like, that makes so much sense, because he's always so nice. Him and his mom are always sharing like secret side glances. Jack's always buying her flowers. He's always being super sweet when the dad's not around. And so Slade's like, oh, that makes sense. Slade's 15, by the way, when this is happening. And his younger brother Riot is 10. Right? That's important. So then the dad insists on knowing when the affair started, and Alora's like, it's been going for 11 years. Wow, my queen. 11 years she's been having this affair. And as soon as she said 11 years, my brain went ding 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 ding. Riot. Riot doesn't have pointy Fae ears. Riot has rounded ears. And I was like, oh. So with, like, because Slade has the Fae ears, the pointy ears, but Riot does not. And at first I know that's like kind of shoved off as the fact that like, oh well, it's because, you know, the dad is Fae, so he has the pointy ears, but the mom, Allure, she is from Aurea, so she's human, so she has the rounded ears. She just has strong Fae lineage, and that's how she has her really strong powers. And so I was like, oh my gosh. But if it's two Oriens together, that's like a guaranteed round ear. I was like, and they've been together 11 years. Riot could have been from it. And it was confirmed. Riot was the product of that affair. And Slade was like, oh my goodness, like, that makes sense. Why? Because he's got the rounded ears. And I feel like there was something else that got brought up that, like, it made sense. And so, yeah, and how we find this out is also super heartbreaking, because, like, I knew that instantly, but then when the story tells us how it happens, the dad kills Jack by literally, because he's the breaker, so he breaks things. He literally broke multiple of Jack's bones and then snapped his neck. And right after this happens, Riot comes into the room and he sees Jack dead on the floor and he screams for father. Like, cause that's, like, he knew that was his dad, and that just flabbergasted me that Riot knew that was his dad. So that was insane. That was crazy. And then on top of that, the dad's like, I'm gonna kill you both. I'm gonna kill the mom. I'm gonna kill Riot. Neither of you. Oh, that's right. That's what the thought was. So Fae have a hard time conceiving, and so Slade always thought it was weird that his mom and dad were able to have him, and then only 5 years later have Riot, while usually it takes a long time, if any, to have a second kid. So that's what another suspicion, like a red flag that dinged in my head, that Riot might not have been the Fae dads. Anyway, so Slade and the dad start fighting because Slade's like, you ain't gonna kill. Oh goodness. Anyway, he's like, Slade's like, you're not gonna kill my mom and my brother. Absolutely not. So they start fighting, and their powers start clashing against each other. And they literally create a rift. So they reopen essentially a rip in the like the world, allowing them to go into Aurea, and it threw half of them in. So it threw in Slade, his mom, Riot, and like half of the servants that were on their side of the house. Because all the servants were there like around them in a circle, and so the half that was on Slade's side flew right into it. And that's what brought them to Aurea. And apparently it was like horrible. It's what caused the phase shift for Slade when like he has his appearance when he's king, and he has his appearance that he's established. Oh my god. When he's the commander, that shift, those appearances happened because of the rip that he got thrown through. That's also where his nickname came from. Like his friends have, like the Wrath, have created funny like excuses for why they nicknamed him Rip, but it's really because he ripped a literal hole in the world. But yeah, and we found out the village that he's keeping hidden that's where they fell into. So that's where the rip opened up and is still present there. But they can't go back through it because it literally like almost kills you, because it almost killed them on the way through. So it like pretty much will kill you if you try to hop back through to Anwin. Hi Amelia. If the camera moves, it's because Amelia's rubbing her face on the camera. And yeah, so yeah, but the people there can't leave. That's why the village stays a secret and the people are there. They're not allowed to leave. Their life force is tied to the rip because they were all humans who were given extended life while living in the Fey world. And so, I can't with my life. Coming back to Orion, if they leave this little like perimeter close to this rip, they will instantly die, because essentially it's the hundreds of years that they've been living in the Fey world will just catch up to their body in 2.2 seconds and they die. So they're literally stuck in this little village in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by rot. So none of them are terribly happy. But it is what it is. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. So fun little update. Ideally when I chit chat tomorrow, I will be done. Time-wise, that'll be great. So I will give you my thoughts on the end of the book, ideally tomorrow. Anyway, see you then. Alright, here we are. Wow. Remember how in the last video I gave you guys like a timeline of how I wanted book progress to go, and I was like, if life is kind to me. It wasn't kind to me. Life was not kind to me. I got kind of depressed, and I had a couple of sad days, and then I had, like, because of that, I wasn't happy with my schedule. My schedule wasn't working out. Switched schedules, moved things around, which caused me to be tired. I haven't had as much caffeine as I normally do. That's not helping. Yeah, progression is still happening. I am in book 5 now, so I did finish book 4. Let's see, because I'm now like 40-something% through book 5, so now I have to remember how book 4 ended. Oh, yes. So Orin was called for a conflux, which I guess is this universe's version of like a trial. She was called to trial because Queen Kayla has whispered in the ears of the other monarchs that Orin stole Midas's gold touch power and then killed him with it, and that she was going to steal the other powers of the other monarchs. So she had them call a trial. And Riot, Slade's brother, was like, send her to the conflux. It's literally just like a power play for the royals. They're just going to give her a slap on the wrist, be like, we're big, tough, you know, people get in trouble, slap on the wrist, don't, you know, be bad, and send her on her way. And Slade's like, no, I refuse. She hasn't done anything wrong. She doesn't deserve to go there. She's not going to go there. So he says no. Well, the Queen Kayla sent her brother in to essentially try to convince them to send Orin. That's not what it was. Don't mind me, I'm grabbing my water. I have raspberry salt stick in my water today. And, Manu is his name, the brother of Queen Kayla. He goes there and he sneaks in with a man from the Second Kingdom, and they stab Risa. Rude, excuse you. Her and Osric were just starting something. That's just rude. And then they kidnap Orin and they take her to the conflux. Risa is still alive, by the way. We're just gonna put a pin on that. She is alive, but she is struggling. And then she was stabbed in the chest. They just barely missed her heart, but nope, we're putting a pin in it. We're coming back. So, Orin was taken to the conflux, treated like absolute garbage. Absolute garbage, guys. Like, she was like scrubbed raw. So, context, Second Kingdom is where the conflux takes place. And they are a very religious cult-like kingdom. And so it's like a bunch of women in robes, and they have like gray stripes depending on how many sins they've committed. And just like bad juju stuff, bad vibe stuff. And they like force her into a bathtub of uncomfortable water, so it's like not too hot but not too cold. They're like scrubbing her skin raw over her clothes, or like they were scrubbing on her clothes, but like she could feel it on her skin, these like coarse, horrible brushes. And they were like dumping water on her. And the Queen of Second Kingdom's power is she can like pinch you, so she can just do this, and it literally feels like whatever part of your body, or even your whole body that she's focusing on, feels like it's literally being squeezed to death. It's horrible. And so she used that on Orin like over and over and over again. It's a desert kingdom, it's hot, so when they were taking her to the conflux, they made her walk barefoot over like the hot sand, which if you walked on hot sand, it's hot. So like her feet were burnt, and then they take her to a stage, and on this stage they have a ruin that was put there a long time ago from somebody whose magic was to make ruins, and he made a ruin that forces your power to come out of you and slowly drain you, because essentially it's like forcing you to use your power without you being able to control it. So they stuck her in a cage, which is rude because we were supposed to be past the cages, on top of this ruin, forcing her to keep using her magic. Kayla used her power of like being able to like project voices that she's heard to manipulate things that she had heard in the past. She can like splice and edit things that she's heard to make phrases and like sentences of things said that like weren't said in that order, but she made it sound like they were, and she was throwing all this fake out there. It was awful, and it made Orin sound like a bad guy. And so everybody was like, yep, she's gonna die. That's not a slap on the wrist, y'all. Death. That is death. So they send a bunch of soldiers up, 6, which was funny because Midas was obsessed with the number 6. She mentions that in the book. She's like, oh, of course, I'm going to die from 6 soldiers, Midas to the end. And they get their swords up to the cage, and they're going to go all at one go. And they actually do start to it. Like, all 6 do pierce her to an extent. But then Rip shows up, and Slade shows up, and he rots, like, the whole arena except for the monarchs. And he's trying to get her out, but he can't because the king and queen of Second Kingdom's son can create like a barrier. And he creates a barrier, and the son, like, they have him, he's little, so they have him use it for too long, and he like starts seizing and passing out from how like long he was using his power and how like much he was using it. And so poor little guy. But because he passed out, he like it was still like, or I guess it was while he was seizing, it was still up. They couldn't get it down, because they couldn't get him to control it because he's not in control at the moment. And so Slade used his power to essentially, at first he was trying to use the rot to rip the cloth, but then he used his raw magic, which is what he feeds into the rip. Did I talk about the rip? Quick crash course in case I didn't. How Slade got from Anwin, the Fey world, to Aurea, the human world, is him and his dad, oh yeah, I was talking about their fighting and they made the rip in the world. So I don't need to do that. Oh, my camera's dying, so let's wrap this up. Um, so he essentially used his raw power then to try to rip it open. It didn't actually rip open the cloth. It ripped open a hole in the universe again. He told Orin to go inside. He was going to go find her. He's like, go in there. You'll be safe. Fall in. Go to Anwin. And then I will come find you. So she launches herself into the rip and ends up in Anwin. Then Rip runs off, runs back to Deadwell to go to the rip that's in the wall because he was going to go through that rip to go get her in Anwin. It's gone. That rip is gone. And everybody in the village, including his mom, is gone. They're just gone. So he's like, what? And on top of that, his raw power magic is dead. He used pretty much all of it to make that rip for Orin. Because the previous rip that he made, he did it with the strength of his dad's power, who was also really strong. This time it was him. It was all him. So he used up his reserves, and it hasn't returned. So, quick speed run for 5. Orin's in Anwin. She is royalty. She is the last birthed heir from the Tully family, which relates to the first girl who crossed over and married the prince. That whole story. I believe I probably touched on that earlier on. I'll touch on it again later on in the book. She's helping to start the rebellion to overthrow the Karek monarchy because they're absolutely awful. Melina, technically end of book 4, beginning of book 5, she helped these 2 Fae guys, without realizing they're Fae, open up the bridge again. So now the Fae from the Karek monarchy are over here. Soldiers are invading Oria. But yeah, in Anwin, Orin's helping a revolution start to fight the Kareks. And Slade is just killing people. Slade is angry. And so he is killing anybody and everybody that has wronged Orin in her life. He is just rotting everybody left and right. He's kidnapped Manu, Queen Kayla's brother, in anger because he kidnapped Orin. And so Slade's just going feral on the Kingdom of Oria. Woo! And that's what we got. Yeah, my camera's about to die. So when I come back, probably tomorrow morning after, I will give it a little more detail about anything more that I've got. So I'll see you in the morning. Here we are. It's been days. I don't even know how many days it's been, but it's been days since I last recorded an update. This is the end of it. This is the final update. Book 5. Let's just roll with what happened in book 5. I think the last time I checked in, I was about the front 50% of the book. I was not happy with the back 50% at all. Not at all. You could tell that book 5 is a filler book, that it was meant to lore dump, info dump, and prep you for the final book, which most long, specifically fantasy series for sure, have one of these books where you info dump, and there's a book that's slow, and this was it, and it was so painfully slow. And I'm not a big fan of Melina, so the fact that she had so much time in this book, there were so many times where I was reading one of her chapters and I was like, oh, just get through it, and I would get through it just to have another Melina chapter, and then another Melina chapter, and I was like, why are we doing that? Why? And I would get so upset and frustrated, and it would I was mad. I was mad by the end of, I gave it a 3-star by the end of it. I was so mad. And just, yeah, nothing really happened. Orin and Slade were separated the entire book. And Slade just was mindlessly kind of killing everything. He was like, without Orin, I'm nothing. And, I get it at first, but then, the wallowing it's a whole book of him wallowing. At least Orin on her side at least did something. She helped the Volmen, which are the rebels in Anwin, the Fae world. She helped their cause and to rise up and to try to take a stand against the Stone King in the Fae world, who's bad. And so those were fun for sure. Slade's chapters were decent. They were okay. And then Melina was just annoying. Osric's was fun. His chapters were really fun. Him and Risa's relationship is great. I love this. I loved those two together. And there's not much to say. It got a 3-star. It was so frustrating. And if that book had been any earlier in the series, I might not have even continued. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that it was right before the final book, I might have even DNF'd the series at that point because I was just so mad at the end of it. I literally, like, finished that book, took a nap, and then, like, watched YouTube for, like, 2 or 3 hours. Like, I full brain rotted after that. I couldn't stand it. But we prevailed. We made it through, and I made it to book 6. And book 6 was fun. Book 6, it technically took me a hot minute, a couple of days, probably more than it would have. But I wasn't able to finish it before Resident Evil 9 came out, and I literally took days off work to play it. So I took a pause on that, and I played Resident Evil 9, and then I finished it yesterday. I don't have my watch on. Lols. So, book 6. Goldfinch, right here at the end. I really like this book. We had a whole lot of POVs. We had Riot's POV, we had Risa's, we had Osric, we had Orin, we had Slade, we have Amoni, who is a Volmi from Anwin. She's a friend of Orin's. And Queen Melina. I don't know if I mentioned Melina or not, but we had more Melina. This book was interesting. People died, and I liked that. I mean, I don't like that. Like, obviously, you know, the best ideal scenario is that everybody lives. But in my opinion, when a series kills people, like, especially people you care about, it makes the conflict feel more real. Like, obviously, there's people with plot armor, but when you actually do kill someone in the series, someone like the people care about, it actually, like, feels high stakes. Like, this is really a battle. Really, things can happen. So, like, Judd died. He was killed protecting Riot, saving Riot. That sucked. That was heartbreaking. I was very upset about that. I smile. I was distraught in the moment. And Melina died, which was very interesting. Her and Dominic died. They sacrificed themselves to break the bridge between Anwin and, what's it called? Oh my god, in Aurea. Here we go. So they died. That might have actually been it. A lot of them lived through the battle. What I thought was very interesting was Riot killed the king, killed the Stone King, and it was easy. Like most of the time the fantasy battles, like, you have the battles with all the soldiers, then you also have an epic battle with the king. And Riot just he like flew at him on a timberwing, which are like their birds, this big bird thing. And he just flew at him, like, launched himself, like, tackled him. They, like, fell off the roof of, like, the castle. And then Riot just went and took his head. That was it. And then they just kind of wrapped it up by killing the rest of the soldiers around them. And that was that. Sorry, the computer made a weird noise. And that was that. And I was like, I still have, like, 30% of the book. What? So that happened, and that was weird. And then Melina broke the bridge. So then the bridge was destroyed. And then, so then the war on Aurea side ended. And you had, let's see, the Aurea side had Riot, it had Lou, it had Osric, it had Risa, and it had Amoni. Because Amoni was captured by the king. And then she disguised herself. Her magic is glamour, so she can make herself look like somebody else as long as she's touched you, like, touched your skin. And so she had disguised herself as a soldier to try to get away and got brought over to the Aurea side. Computer over there's having a moment. So that happened. So that they're on one side of the bridge in Aurea. And in Anwin, you had Slade, you had Orin, and you had Slade and Riot's mom, Allure. On their side, they took down the soldiers, the stone soldiers, which is King Carrick's guards. They took them down, and they took down Riot's dad, Riot and Slade's dad, killed him, which was nice. Slade apparently can manifest a dragon. So apparently that's like in the family bloodline, but nobody's been able to make one in a long time. Like, you like send out some of your soul that's just part of the dragon and it makes a dragon, which was really cool for the little bit of time it was there. And then Slade's dad killed it. Rude. And then he tried to kill Slade, and then Orin jumped in the way and she died, but didn't die. She did die, like fully gone. She died. But then she just chose not to. Chose to come back. And then her ribbons, which I knew this was going to happen eventually, just like wanting it, like manifesting it. Like if I tell myself enough, it's going to happen. I wanted her ribbons to become wings, and they did. So those were nice. So her ribbons, they can be wings or they can be ribbons. She can change them back and forth. And then, so yeah, she saved Slade. And then Slade killed his dad. And then later the dragon came back. Like, he died and the dragon, like, died. But then, like, when Orin, like, rebirthed herself, it came back. It wasn't very much explained. And then they finished their side of the war. They took Orin and Slade in Anwin. They figured out how to finish their side of the war. They killed all the stone soldiers. They worked with Wick. Wick is the leader of the Volmian, the rebels in Anwin. And he's also Orin's like second cousin. And he has all his drama. Technically, when they were little, his family was visiting Orin and her parents, and Wick didn't like Orin when they were kids because he was jealous of her because everybody loved her, and that pissed him off, and he was mean to her. And so the day of the attack, when the children were escorted out, he was with Orin, and he chose to, like, he had an opportunity to slip away, and he ran away, and he chose not, like, he made a conscious choice not to take Orin with him. And then when he realized he shouldn't have done that and tried to come back and find her, she was already gone. So he felt really bad about that, which was, I mean, that is rude, but at the same time, he was a child. So, I mean, you can't hold a grudge against him when he was a kid. He was like 8 when this happened, and she was 5. So, while rude, you can't hold it against an 8-year-old. And Orin forgave him. All was forgiven. So, Orin did not wish to rule in Anwin, now present day, after the war is over. She chose not to take the crown. She was like, I don't want to do this. Let's give it to Wick. Wick has literally been leading you. He's been here this whole time. He knows what's good for Anwin. And the people are like, cool, great, let's do that. And Wick's like, well, I don't think we should have a monarchy. The monarchy hasn't been doing well. So let's do like a democracy instead. We'll vote. We have people who will put their name in like a ballot, and then the country will vote to see who they want in place in this assembly, and this assembly makes the choices. And like they will make laws and rules and decisions so that everybody, Orin's phase, everybody gets a say, which is great. That's a great choice. So that starts happening. Well, with the bridge closed, they have no way to get back to Oria, and vice versa. The group that's in Oria has no way to get back to Anwin. So they're all kind of just having to be like upset that they're not together. Well, on the Oria side, a fairy ring got left over. So a fairy ring is like teleportation magic. You can put one and you put one where you want to go, and then you can teleport between them. And then somehow one of the twins, one of the bad Fae twins, made one. I'm assuming I've talked about the twins at this point. They've been in here for a couple of books. They're the ones that tricked Melina into making the bridge. One of them is dead. They died in the war. But the other one is alive and somehow or another made a fairy ring to Anwin. My computer's over there just having a fit. He made a fairy ring, so a teleportation ring over to Anwin. And so the group, everybody, takes it over there. Well, Riot gets mad at the dude because the dude tries to kill Amoni because he's pissed that she betrayed them. And when he tries to kill her, Riot kills the twin. I don't even remember which one it is. Friano, maybe? I think Fossa died, so I think it's Friano that's alive. Riot kills him, and then Riot's like, oh shoot. I killed him, which means the fairy ring died. And there are no other fairy ring people in Anwin. So he's like, shoot. Now we're stuck in Anwin. And we just kind of, the ending while it's happy, it's weird. Like, they're like, oh, the fairy ring's gone, we're stuck in Fae. And everybody's like, cool. What do you mean, cool? Y'all just happy with that? Like, Slade's like, I know I had a kingdom, but my premiers, the two bitches that take over, like, rule the country in my stead, they got this. And then Oren's like, yeah, I didn't even want to go back there anyway. I wanted to stay in Anwin. So they're both like... And then Lou's like, I'm okay being here. That's fine. Osric and Risa are like, cool, we'll build a house. This is great. And then Amoni's like, this is my world, so this is what I want to be here. So the only one that doesn't like it here is Riot. Because, I mean, Riot has no good experiences from when he lived in Anwin. So he's not happy to be here. But and they... whose chapter was it? I think it was Oren. So she's like, yeah, Riot's not happy to be here, but he'll get over it with time. So we just give no fucks about Aurea, apparently. Everybody just says, I don't even care about that country anymore. None of them have family over there. We're like starting fresh and new in Anwin, and we literally could not care the state of Aurea now that we're gone. And I don't know, that's just like weird to me. I mean, like, in a story like this, you would expect, like, the bridge to be remade or a connection to be remade, and, like, you still have a way to go back and forth between the two, but we really just said Aurea could just blow up and we couldn't care less. We're just going to be in Anwin for the rest of our lives. and we're good with that. And that was weird. So I'm happy that everybody's alive. We're happy. We're together. The war is over. Anwin's looking good. Aurea was not in a great state. Queen Kayla was already like, well, the war's over. There's 3 kingdoms without a king, without a ruler. I'm going to swoop in and try to take some of that. So I guess I don't really blame them in a sense for not wanting to go back, but it was just weird how quickly they abandoned the idea of going to be able to be in Aurea. They just did not care. That was so weird. Oh, but that's the series, guys. That's the book. Oh, man. That was a journey. I felt like that was like, I think that might have been like almost the whole month. That was a long time. As a whole, the series was great. I had a great time outside of book 5. Book 5, I've got beef with you. Every other book was a 5-star, book 4 being a 3. And I loved it. It definitely reconfirmed that I am ready to start dipping back. Oh my, I can't. What is up with me today? It definitely reconfirms that I am into romantasies. I am ready to hop back into that, even though I don't think anything I have planned in March is a romantasy at all. I don't think I have any planned in the month of March, but I will definitely be picking them up and looking for them and looking into them, and those are going to be so much fun. So this series is great. I'm definitely happy I checked it out. I definitely wish I had read it before now, back before the Romantasy slump. So the first time around when I was into these books, I wish I had done it. Because this is great. I loved Oren. I loved Slade. I loved everybody's like character progressions. I loved Osric and Risa and how like they're fun and they're complimenting of each other. I liked Lou. I liked Judd. Rest in peace, Judd. Anwin was a lot of fun. Wick was fun. I liked all the characters, how they interacted. I like progression. I like how there was also like no pointless conflict. Like everybody reacted normally. Like how Oren could have been mad at Wick for the things that he did as a child, and she was like, well, I'm not happy that you did what you did. You were also 8. So I will not be mad at you about it anymore, and I'm not gonna like call you a traitor or hold it over your head. You did it when you were 8. So it's like we had conflict, but they were realistically handled how one would, and they weren't over exaggerated, miscommunication left and right, you know, like crazy misunderstandings and fights every 2 seconds. Like everybody was being who they were supposed to be and like reacting how a normal real life scenario would roll out. So I really liked that. Book 5 though, man, did book 5 make me mad. If you can get through book 5, guys, like if you haven't read this before, why are you here? Because because this is a spoiler vlog, so interesting choice. But those of you who have read it, I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on book 5. I know it's still got a whole bunch of really high reviews on Fable, but I really, that was hard. Book 5 was really hard to get through. But overall, the series was great. I would give the series overall a 5-star because it was just fantastic. And I had a great time through the whole thing. Oh, what a long journey. I can't wait to brain rot for a little while before I start another book, because that was mentally a lot because of how many books and how many pages and all that goodness. But it was great and I loved it. Slade's amazing. Definitely added to the book boyfriend list. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I had a whole lot of fun recording it. It's probably going to be super, super long. I'll find out when I edit it later this week. So, hopefully you guys watched. Hopefully you enjoyed. Please subscribe and leave a comment if you've read the series before and what you thought about it too. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!